Hi, my loves. How are we doing? All right, get yourself a little snacky and something to drink and come back. We got some things I want to talk about. I got me a nice hot tea, and I love this mug. Don't hex with me before coffee. It's priceless, but I got a few things I would like to discuss with y'all. So today we are going to talk about what is a divine feminine, a dark divine feminine, and simply shadow work, and really like what is the point of shadow work. Okay, I am starting a series on my TikTok page. Okay, I'm going to label this playlist. It's going to be called Divine Feminine. Okay, now if you guys listened to my rant, what was it, about a couple days ago, about the whole point of being a divine feminine is truly to stand in your power, not seek validation from other people, and simply gaining confidence and not giving up. That is what a divine feminine is, okay? So I'm going to start a series where we're going to do some shadow work together. And yes, on every episode, you will be assigned a homework assignment if you choose to listen to essentially what I have to say, okay? Pretty much it's steps of to be a divine feminine, let me start there, is shadow work. Lots of shadow work, okay? Now, when I say divine feminine, for one, gender does not matter, okay? Men are definitely welcomed here, okay? And I have to say, point number 2, if anybody wants to make hateful comments towards me or other people in my comment section, you will get blocked. This is a safe haven and a healing page over here, so no hateful comments, okay? But also, thirdly, with the divine feminine does not mean just strictly you're in a twin flame journey. Absolutely freaking not, okay? That's what a twin flame journey is trying to push you to, is to be a divine feminine, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Divine feminine can be activated within anybody if you allow it, if you choose to, if you're willing to put in the work. If you're not, then you're always going to be stuck as a wounded feminine, essentially, right? Okay, so this is going to go out towards everybody. No, you do not have to be in a twin flame, journey to listen to this series at all. My goal really with this series, I'm actually really excited about it, is again, if you listen to my other rant that the video I uploaded a couple days ago, that's where I dropped the balls. I wish I would have started a year ago on this, on my TikTok platform, urging feminines to be in their divine, because the one thing I feel like the internet overall, and I'm guilty for it, is we could talk about with you guys all day and every day what's a twin flame journey, a spiritual awakening, kundalini awakenings, whatever the case is. I could talk, deity work. I could talk to you guys about that all day and every day, but what I feel like I and maybe the internet overall kind of fails to do is really teach feminines how to be in their divine feminine. Let's be real, it's hard, because what shadow work is, let's make this clear, shadow work is like simply therapy without actually going to a therapist. You're pretty much figuring all the dark sides about you kind of on your own. Yes, you could reach out to ancestors, deities, they are there as guides to help you, of course, but really you're kind of figuring it out on everything as you go, okay? Now, quickly, what is a divine feminine? What is a dark divine feminine? Okay, ultimately, like I said at the beginning of the video, feminines, again, gender does not matter. Just, it talks about the qualities you embody the most, okay? But really what it is standing in your confidence. As simple as that. It sounds simple, but obviously it's not that easy, because that's something you've suppressed in since you were pretty much a child, right? It's really not taking any BS from anybody, from your person, from even yourself. And truly, in my eyes, what a divine feminine energy is taking inner accountability. Again, and that requires shadow work, really taking accountability. Okay, I didn't handle this situation better, or what can I do next time to improve on myself? Okay, maybe there's some personality things about myself I'm not really proud of. Let's figure out a way to get through this trial. That's a divine feminine. It doesn't mean perfection, but it truly means you're willing to build yourself up each and every day without playing victim and pointing the finger at everybody. And it's a hard thing to do, especially if you are somebody, unfortunately, that's accumulated years, unfortunately, or even childhood trauma and years of trauma, no matter how severe or whatever the case is, it is a hard thing to deal with. So naturally, I, resonate with that. Naturally what you want to do is point the finger at everybody. Well, they hurt me, they betrayed me, this happened to me, but it comes to a point of How much longer are you willing to sit in broken? When are you going to finally have enough? When are you going to stand up and say, I deserve a better life. I deserve a better reality for myself? Like my rant in the last video, I always say, feminines, you are in control of your own reality. And I don't think what's so sad is I've seen this in the comments. I've seen it with some of my personal clients. I've seen it in other comments on. It's amazing to me how many feminines, and specifically majority women, don't see how valuable they are, how important they are. And it's just, to me, it's sad. And that's kind of where shadow work kind of snaps your mind of not just the dark sides of yourself, but it also reminds you of how powerful you really are. I just uploaded a quote today, and it came from Mother Lilith, and it, and I really sit with this from her. And she told me one day, these people didn't break you. You weren't broken. They freed you. And that is something to really sit with. That is a positive mindset to really sit with. Okay. Now let's discuss shadow work. Now, what is shadow work? Like I said, to sum it up, it's therapy without an actual therapist, right? But it's also about, again, facing your own shadow, facing parts of yourself that you're not exactly the most proud of, facing unhealed versions of yourself. And shadow work is also, certain things about yourself that maybe society or your own family, friends, exes, whatever the case is, has told you to suppress because it's weird or not normal, or you need to calm down. And now it's kind of being taught to, kind of have that feminine rage come out. Not like obviously go, crash out, not that kind of rage, but really embody who you're meant to be. Now, what are some topics of shadow work? And these can be a little uncomfy. And let's be real, guys, I got to make it clear. This series may be very uncomfy. And what I will discuss is a broad of everything as far as parts of shadow work. So, for example, I will talk about, religious trauma. I will talk about codependencies. I will talk about maybe different techniques on to release certain habits. I will be talking about, do you have tend to be more obsessive, or do you hold on to grudges, whatever the case is. And like I said, even what is shadow work as far as the aspects of yourself. And again, these are going to be uncomfy, but for example, do you tend to manipulate people to get things come your way a certain direction? Are you a white liar? Are you a compulsive liar? Do you tend to cheat on your partners? Do you sometimes come off as a mean girl? Are you a pushover? The parts of yourself that are kind of uncomfy are, that are going to come up to the surface, and you are being faced with your own shadow, that those certain traits of yourself no longer serve you. And again, they're very uncomfy. So yes, on this playlist, essentially, again, will be labeled under Divine Feminine. I will be talking about as many things I could talk about. I will even bring up certain things, like specifically if you're in a twin flame journey, and if you are a feminine that is struggling to cope with your person on certain aspects, I will discuss about that. But not everything on this series is going to be about the twin flame journey either. Like I said, I will talk about certain shadow aspects. I will teach you, like I said, maybe certain techniques on how to handle certain triggers. I will do my best to go over as much as I could possibly give for you guys. And like I said, at every end of my series, I will give you guys a homework assignment. So here is your homework assignment. One of the best forms of shadow work is write it down. Okay, I encourage everybody, get a notebook, doesn't need to be fancy, write everything down. Now, if you don't have time, or if you're not a journaling person, that is okay. But if you want to work on shadow work, get a journal, okay? I'd rather see you guys actually write it down, because as time goes on, that is also a good reflection period out of you. So when you're writing certain things about you, or how your day is going, doesn't matter. You can look back and reflect back, maybe, okay, these are some things I did, I missed 6 months ago. I'm going to start working on it right now. But here's your homework assignment, okay? 2-liner, 2 sentences. That's it. 1, write one thing about yourself that maybe you're not the most proud of. Just one thing. But number 2, write down the one thing that you absolutely are proud of. Okay, that's it. Get a notebook, write down entry 1. I don't care how you labeled it. If you need to go get a shadow work journal, or you already have one, write down one thing you're maybe not proud of yourself, and one thing that you are so proud of. You are hold it dear to your heart with yourself. Love you guys, and I'll catch you later.